Hey, come see me do live stand-up in Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Davenport, Iowa, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So get this. There's this woman, a Democratic state senator, what's her name? Susan Talamentes Eggman. She's a Democrat from Stockton, and they're trying to pass a bill to raise the penalty for child molesters.
Okay.
And she was getting pushback.
What kind of pushback?
Well, let's watch. Here she is.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Eggman.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'd like to say, as a progressive, proud member of this body for the last 12 years, I'm done. I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children. I'm done. I don't want to send more black and brown men to prison. I don't want more people in prison, but I don't want people buying girls. I don't want people buying little girls anymore. And I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it. As a mental health professional and as a social worker, I can tell you I've spent my entire career working with people who have been wounded. I'm not going to say beyond repair, but they have been wounded to their core by the abuse that's been heaped on them, oftentimes by those that they love and look to protect them. And if their parents won't do it, then by God, we should. Again, I am not arguing that we open the gates to flood our prisons with people, but I am arguing that we have a moral responsibility to say enough. Enough. We have given away enough on this area, and we've got to move back into the center, or we all look like fools and laughing stocks. And what do we stand for? I ask all of you to watch the documentary that Senator Grove was in, Senator from Kern County was just in, that talked about this very place in Sacramento where girls are being bought and sold. Men are being given a slap in the hand or a couple days, and then they're back out again, and they do the same thing. They get caught over and over and over again, and somehow that's okay. It's not okay. It is not okay anymore. And no more am I watching. Like I said, I'm leaving, but the rest of you who are going to be here for a while, let's get our stuff together and really start focusing on some of the important things. We talk about learning, and we talk about being safe. This is like at the core of it. And a lot of these kids can be throwaway kids. They're poor kids. They're kids of color. But they shouldn't have to live a life determined by what happens to them by others at a very young age, and by have the Democratic Party of California say it's okay. It's not okay. And I'm not doing it anymore, and I hope none of you do too. We have to be able to draw a line, and for me, I'm drawing a line. I urge your I vote.
Senator Eggman.
So what is she talking about, Kurt? You want to know what she's talking about? The bill is SB Senate Bill 1414, would make soliciting a child less than 16 years old punishable by a jail term of up to 3 years. Just 3 years. That's the max. Anyone convicted of solicitation a second time would have to register as a sex offender. Why not the first time?
I mean, it sounds like a pretty
What do they mean by solicitation? Hey, Siri, what's the legal term solicitation mean?
It's like being a John, isn't it?
That's what I thought. Solicitation, according to Merriam-Webster, it's the practice or act of instance of soliciting. Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, soliciting sex.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, so they weren't punishing it even this much?
I guess they weren't even punishing it this much. What were they doing?
And then she goes, well, I don't want to start a flood of people going to prison. Is there going to be a flood of people going to prison?
For this? Well, let's watch. Let me. Anyone convicted of solicitation a second time would have to register as a sex offender if they were more than 10 years older than the minor. Currently, anyone convicted of soliciting a child in California faces up to a year in prison and a fine of up to 10 grand. Just a year?
Boy, it's strange it would be that low, and there's a mass influx of illegal trafficked people coming in at the moment, isn't it? It's almost like a nationwide. Oh, you asked it off mic.
So, understanding solicitation of a minor and indecent contact. It is a serious offense and situation if you or someone you know is accused of soliciting a minor or of indecent contact with the minor. Both crimes are serious and could, being accused of soliciting a minor or having indecent contact is bad. But
Yeah,
being
we know.
found guilty of either offense could be
Wait,
horrible.
what?
But tell me what it is.
You don't even
The
want to know.
solicitation of a minor is any attempt to get a minor to do something illegally.
Okay.
It is also the request, plea, enticing, asking, or otherwise persuading a minor to commit an illegal act. A minor in these situations is defined as anyone under the age of 18 years old. The solicitation can occur anywhere, but it often takes place online, with an adult using the internet to communicate with a minor and attempt to get the minor to engage in illegal activity. Regardless of where the solicitation occurs, the legal consequences are the same and can negatively impact the remainder of a person's life. Indecent contact with the minor is defined as touching a minor's genitals, anus, or breasts with the intent to gratify or arouse the sexual desire of the person who is initiating the touching.
Oh, anus. I think you said a noose.
I said a noose.
Oh.
I said it like Borat. Anus, a noose. You know, your vagine.
Your anus. Yeah.
This charge can be placed against a person regardless of whether or not they knew the person they were engaging in a decent contact with was a minor. Well, that should play a little bit, don't you think? Like if you think the person's over 18,
It
legit.
just sounds like everything's set up for some kind of weird entrapment, and that's we don't want to get rid of the victimization of kids because it's a useful way to entrap people to make them do things we want, and that's how the entire government runs. I'm guessing.
So it keeps saying that any person who is charged with solicitation of a minor or indecent contact with a minor must understand that these charges are extremely serious. Really? Not so much in California. You can't even get over a year in prison.
Yeah, who's saying that to you?
An individual, well, it says solicitation of a minor can result in fines and imprisonment
Is that
for,
a
up to,
lawyer's website?
for up to 20 years. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. That's why they're
But
saying
that not in California.
So they're probably, is that a California law firm?
This is from PatrickJMcLean.com. So that he's obviously not a lawyer in California, I'll tell you that.
If it was a California lawyer, hey, minor fender bender, solicitation of a minor, will.
So this is what the bill would do. The bill would also change the act from a misdemeanor to a felony. So right now it's just a misdemeanor in California.
It seems strange that would be.
They're putting people away.
Seems odd.
Seems odd. So the bill passed the California Senate unanimously. Oh, so who was she arguing with? And its counterpart in the Assembly was introduced on Friday. Oh, really? Is that today or last Friday? California has a history of high human trafficking numbers. In 2021, nearly 13% of all trafficked U.S. people were in the state. Really?
Hey,
according to the Public Policy Institute of California.
How come they're spying on every single living person in the country and yet that's still a problem somehow? It seems like if you were spying on everyone like God, you would see this problem.
Would see this.
And be able to really take care of it, doesn't it?
So Wall Street Apes says California policies are now so extreme, their own party is self-destructing. Senate Chambers, I'd like to say as a progressive, proud member of this body for the last 12 years, I'm done. I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children.
For 12 years you did that? And you're proud? You're still proud, though, of being a member of this. For 12 years, you've been protecting people who buy and abuse children.
She's done. She's done with them protecting them. So it took you 12 years for her to get done with it. Well, and she's done with it. It sounds like she's quitting. It sounds like she goes, I'm not going to be here. Yeah. Doesn't it sound like she's on her way out?
Yeah, she'd say that.
Yeah. Well, good for her, though. At least she's done. At least there was a limit of buying and selling children that she actually hit her threshold.
Wait, it's like when Al Jolson was like, from now on, no more blackface.
I'm done.
Like Jeffrey Tambor said that when he got his award when I was at the Emmys.
What did he say?
For Transamerica.
So he played a trans lady, right?
Yeah, and then they pushed him off the show because he wasn't trans, but they trumped up. So anyway, who watches the show? Very few people. Everybody pretend they watch it, and he gets his trophy. He goes, if I could be the last cis man to play a trans woman, I wouldn't be sad. And they all, woo!
You come see me on tour in Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Las Vegas, Davenport, Iowa, Chicago, Illinois. We're doing a live panel video show, special surprise guests on that show, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to Jimmy Dore because they don't want to buy it from a second reseller.